Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Girls Unscripted. My name is Kate.
And my name is Carolyn.
And today, Carolyn. And today we are recapping. It's kind of a sad day because we are recapping the final episodes of season 1 of Vanderpump Rules. We are going to recap the reunion and the reunion secrets revealed.
Both of those things that wrap out what has been an incredible season. I think you can agree, Kate.
I definitely can agree. I will also say I do feel like us recapping this season for the podcast was kind of just what the reunion was. Like everything they were talking about, I'm like, we've talked about this at length.
Yeah, I agree. When I was like taking notes, I was like, well, we've talked about this. Again, like kind of like the Love Island reunion. We didn't learn much new. There wasn't like, but secrets revealed. I feel like there are some fun scenes.
Right,
but
that was fun.
Yeah, there's enough for us to still yap about.
Right, so we'll only tell you guys the juicy stuff. I'm really not that big of a reunion person, to be honest, unless there's like a ton of loose ends, like season 10 and season 11 of the Vanderpump Rules reunions. Like those were needed, but sometimes I don't feel it's like necessary to just like revisit all these little scenes over and over and then them just sitting there like, haha, yeah, that was crazy. It's like, I do feel like that was kind of like what this reunion was. And I think that is why a lot of shows don't have reunions their first season. And it makes sense now that I've watched this. I'm like, I get it. Although the Valley still stand by the fact that the Valley should have had a reunion this season.
Valley should have a reunion. It had all the ingredients to make for a great reunion. This one, I think, was interesting. I think it was interesting to see how Andy tackled it. It wasn't like a standard. He really bopped around. Like we really went from topic to topic, like randomly. He normally like stays on one person. Nowadays, he'll like really just hammer it on Sheena for 30 minutes before he goes to someone else. I think this is kind of popcorn.
I totally agree. I think it's because there wasn't like overall things. Yeah. It's just like, oh, this little thing happened, then this little thing happened. Like, yeah, there was like one point where he was like, Sheena, so you got a tattoo with your mom? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, cool. Okay, so Jax.
Literally, because like we said, like Jax and Stassi really kind of hijacked the airspace here for this season for good reason, as they deserve to.
Totally. God. And speaking of Stassi, what did you think of her outfit?
Oh my God, I knew you were going to talk about it. I was obsessed with it. It was so ridiculous. The little fur short cuff sleeves and the little fur in Los Angeles. I'm sure this was, in this heat of this summer. It made no sense, and I absolutely loved every second of it. How about you?
Yes, it was like a light brown fur skirt and cuff sleeves with a beigeish pink and black lacy. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But I do feel like in that moment of time, she was like, I'm fucking doing something.
And you know what? At the moment in time, she might have been fucking doing something.
She might have been something.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah. So I was here for that, and I fucking loved Katie's hair color.
She looked so good.
I think this was in the stage of her lightening her hair because it season 2 when she's there with the orange, whatever?
Yes, yeah, orange Katie.
I feel like she should have stuck with that. It was the balayage before the balayage existed. Katie's hair was amazing. I loved it.
She crushed it. She looked really good.
The first part of the reunion that kind of stuck out for me was Stassi admitting that she's hit Jax before.
Dude, what the actual fuck? And I want to be careful here because this is a sensitive topic, but I mean, if that were said today, if a man had acted, if the roles were reversed and that was a man talking about a woman, he would have been rushed off the stage and like sent to jail. And the fact that we're talking about it so haphazardly and like laughing nervously about it, and that's about all the attention it gets, I thought was kind of in poor taste, but it was a different time. It was like however many years ago.
I even think if that same conversation happened today without the roles being reversed, it would not go over well. She's just laughing about like, not only did she say she like busted his nose and he bled everywhere, she then looks at Jax and she goes, yeah, but did you deserve it though? And Jax was like, Yes, I did. And then he has the nerve to say, and it got all over my Michael Kors sweater.
which was perfection. But I know it's like looking the victim in the eye and then making them say they deserved it. I mean, it's kind of sick, dark stuff.
But it was my fault. Yeah, she should have hit me. Yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was funny. But I do think you're right. In that time, it just was different. And I hate to keep saying it was a different time, but it was.
It was. I mean, this was like a decade ago. Things happen quickly.
And then this kind of leads into Jax admitting that he likes to be controlled by Stassi. Did you write down, did you even note when he said that?
Yeah, I noted that too. I thought that was interesting. And I think also holds true, except I thought about his relationship with Brittany, and I don't think necessarily that's a controlling relationship there.
I wrote down the same exact thing. I said this. I wrote it actually couldn't be more different than how he is with Brittany, because he says he likes it when the other half wears the pants and he likes being told what to do. That is so the opposite. That's actually everything that he's bitched about Brittany doing in the Valley. Whereas back then, Stassi could be like, Jax, bring me a water, right? But nowadays, Brittany can't even ask Jax to close a fucking cabinet that he's opened.
Yeah, and I think Jax just can't help himself but seek that thrill of that drama, of that spice in a relationship.
Yes, but only from Stassi.
Only from Stassi. That he is
held all the
still
cards.
At this reunion, desperately seeking to get back into his arms.
So then this leads to Stassi admitting that she did some emotional cheating with Frank. Basically, she was with Frank before she really ended things with Jax, which I actually think this is most shitty of Frank, because he was actively befriending Jax while he was texting this motherfucker's girlfriend.
Can I tell you something sick? And people feel free to judge me. I've been in this situation. I feel like a lot, maybe
were you
a
the
lot
Stassi,
of
or
girls
were you the Frank, or were you the Jax?
I was the Stassi. You have a sleazy guy that's giving you attention and acting as a supportive friend while your partner is treating you like shit, but then you get way too much support and then it gets borderline emotionally strange, and then you break up with your partner and then you quickly get into a thing with the other guy, and then you realize he was just kind of using you the whole time to get in her pants, as Katie was saying. It's a tale as old as time.
Literally, it's poetic. And I think that's exactly what happened. And you always think you're going to be different and you're special and blah blah blah. It's and also at the end of the day, the person that's in Frank's shoes is a rebound. No one is really any better than the other in this situation.
Absolutely will be a rebound. So that answered that. Now, am I still unconvinced that they didn't do more than talk during the relationship? I actually kind of believe Stassi here. I kind of believe that they didn't do anything.
I just feel like it's so easy, because she says her and Frank hooked up 2 days after her and Jax broke up. I just feel like, you know what? Maybe you're right. Because if she's admitted to already doing the emotional cheating, then it's not that hard to believe that they fucked the moment after.
Because
they broke up.
Then the tension has built for so long that they know if if she does break up, then they're probably, and
also, how could they have hooked up before that when Jax and her were living together and basically were together every second of every day?
Right. Oh, can we talk about the scene from Secrets Revealed where Jax in the middle of the staff meeting is and then Stassi and I had sex. he didn't say that exactly.
Was crazy.
But I was like, where did that come from?
No, he goes,
nowhere.
You look like you just had sex. It was good, wasn't it? We had sex last night. It was really good. But then Stassi, doesn't want all this negative attention on her, but then decides to start crying and run out. That was a crazy scene.
Couldn't have drawn more attention to it. And then, of course, Lisa was like, tell me.
To me, that was such a for the camera scene, too, though. I was like, ugh.
I don't know. I think Stassi really was just a hot mess at that point.
I think Stassi was a hot mess, and Jax was, what can I do to make good reality TV? I still think he's smarter than we give him credit for.
Oh, 1,000%.
This kind of leads us into, we go back to the whole Katie and Kristen versus Frank situation. And really, it was just the same fight we've heard over and over again. We don't really need to like go into it. But this is where it is kind of like brought to light that Stassi and Sheena are like BFFs now. And Sheena's sitting there like, I was the only one that was there for you, Stassi. And Katie and Kristen are like, shut the fuck up, Sheena. You were there for like 2 seconds. And Sheena goes, well, I'm here now. Sorry, not sorry. And it's just so funny to see Katie and Kristen no longer be Stassi's minions. And now Sheena is taking that place. This whole reunion is this just Sheena riding for Stassi and having Stassi's back.
Yeah. Also, it's so funny that this chapter even existed in Vanderpump history because I don't recall Sheena and Stassi being tight. Like, I just forgot that that was a chapter of it.
Exactly. And even at one point in the reunion, like Stassi says, like, I love Sheena. Like, I love her.
They literally, they profess their love to each other.
Which is why it does make it, when you get to season 2, I believe, is when, or no, I think it might be season 3. I don't remember exactly when it is, but it makes it such a bigger deal that Sheena did reveal this sex tape that went on between Stassi and Frank. Basically, for those who don't remember, Frank took a video of Stassi doing some things and then like threatened to send it out, showed some people. Sheena saw it. Sheena showed some people. The video ended up getting axed because Lisa had to pay Frank off. But that's
Which is literally
and I'm pretty sure she only
illegal.
paid him like $900. I know. Again, a different time. But that's why Stassi was so upset because she was like, Sheena and I like were friends. And anyways, that's not here nor there. It just goes to show how no one is fucking friends at the Sex and Unique restaurant.
But I did laugh when Sheena basically read this situation, which was like, yeah, you pretty much dumped Stassi because you believed Jax. And Kristen was like, you weren't there, Sheena. That's not how it happened. I was like, we were all there, Kristen. That is exactly how it happened.
That is
not only was
happened.
she there, we were there too. And pretty much how it happened.
Just to lighten the mood, my fucking favorite part of the whole reunion was, and it was such a blip, I don't even know if you wrote it down, but when they talk about the fight in that parking lot in Vegas.
I know exactly what you're going to say, and I LOL'd.
Basically, Andy asks Sandoval, why did you take your shirt off? And Sandoval says he accidentally took it. No, he took his shirt off because he accidentally took a Xanax that night. I'm sorry? You accident, like, what does that even mean? That is the weird. I don't
Andy
know what's
was
more
like,
alarming, that you
what?
are saying you accidentally took a Xanax when you obviously took a Xanax, or if you really did accidentally take a Xanax, how can you just take a pill by accident and not know what it is?
And most importantly, what does that have to do with taking off your shirt? I don't know about you, but I've never popped a Xanny and been like, man, am I encouraged to rip off my clothes right now?
For
it's just
no
never
reason.
happened. I've never seen it happen.
It was just amazing. We get into the Laura Lee of it, and Jax does admit that he used Laura Lee as a way to get back at Stassi for Frank.
But I do also think he's heavily leaning into this just because it's what Stassi wants to hear.
Yes.
I think he was genuine when he said that was the best sex I've had in a long time.
I agree.
I don't think that was just to get under Stassi's skin. He said it I don't even think he thought Stassi would hear it, to be honest. I don't think his brain knew how reality TV like actually was going to function yet. Basically, I think that he's just being manipulative, and the fact that he's saying all this, really playing like down the demeaned, poor, he's down on himself because he wants to get Stassi back.
100%. He is doing anything to get her back. So he's like, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. That's what I did. Yes, you're right. Like, that's all he's doing is he is yes-anding her. Yes, and. Yep,
yes.
Yep. It's like, it is so obvious. And it's funny you say that because I actually didn't think that when I first watched it. But
it's like it's a game that he just has to win.
Right.
And until he's won it, he can't. Like, he's a dog with a bone. He won't let it go.
It is crazy how much he is groveling. And like you said earlier, yeah, they do ask, is Laura Lee really the best sex you ever had? And he's like, no, Stassi's the best sex I ever had. Which is funny because in The Secrets Revealed, he says
it was like
He said it was like boring, like a sex ed video, having sex with Stassi.
Yeah, that's what he said. It was like a sex ed video.
This man and his lies, I just can't keep up.
I don't think he can keep up with them anymore at this point.
Yeah. Okay, actually, talk about a fucking different time, Carolyn. I actually forgot about this until I just read back my notes. Sandoval. Okay, let's go back to the photo shoot where there was that girl that had previously slept with Sandoval at the photo shoot. Cassie, Cassandra, whatever the fuck. It is revealed that not only did her and her twin sister live with Tom Sandoval, and one of them had sex with Tom Sandoval, they were seniors in high school when this happened. So, whatever, beside the point, everyone at the reunion laughing like, you slept with a high school girl, Sandoval? And Tom's like bragging about it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Also, what the fuck? I actually have no words for this.
It's shit like this that makes me terrified to raise children in this city. Because the crazy amount of shit you can get into is a whole different level of crazy shit. Like, you can go spend the night with some guy that's an actor and, like, get away with it. I don't know. It just, like... But they
crazy. Lived with him. They were
lived with him.
The whole storyline is confusing. They were seniors in high school, but they worked at Hooters.
Yeah.
And they lived with Tom Sandoval.
What? None of it made sense. Yeah, and everyone was just like, ah ha ha, 2 girls from high school. That's so silly.
Oh, Sandoval.
Oh, Sandoval.
It's funny, though, how many people, like, when I listened to that, it made me realize how many people have truly lived in that apartment with Tom Sandoval. Those girls did, Tom and Jax did, Kristen did, Ariana did, Jeremy Maddox did. Like, everyone has lived in that apartment.
If those walls could talk, is all I'm going to say about that.
I don't even know that I'd want to hear. That's
I'd want to hear it all. I'd want to sit down with popcorn for 3 days straight.
Literally.
But I also thought it was funny that Kristen still doubled down about how upsetting it was, this whole situation, that she was at a photo shoot with someone who slept with her boyfriend before she even knew her boyfriend.
And even everyone is like, Kristen, like, don't you think it's a little? And she's like, no, you don't get it. I have to think about that when I'm in my bed. It's like, oh my God, that's
it's
crazy.
Like, no, that's what we are thinking about. We think it's a little too much.
Yeah. Ugh.
But just love her. Love it so much.
They spend a ton of time just talking about Jax and shit we've heard a million times before. He misses Stassi. He's a work in progress, yada, yada. But during this part, we do have real tears from Sandoval crying over Jax being a pathological liar.
Which I think this might be the first time that we see tears from Sandoval in the series, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he's cried yet.
It's the first out of nowhere cry that makes us go, wait, what? What
did I miss?
Why is he crying?
The first of many.
Yes. Little did we know that was going to be a motif.
Yeah. And then basically they just continue to fight with Stassi, blaming her for everything. Like, they're still all against her. A lot of them are. And I still just feel bad for Stassi and her position in this friend group.
Same. I feel like we've really, like, belabored it throughout this recap. But, like, our friends were, like, really shitty. That sucks. And talk about doubling down. Katie and Kristen were definitely doubling down, saying, yeah, we stand by everything we did. And I felt it when Stassi was like, I hope you feel stupid. I hope you feel stupid. I wanted to be like, yeah, I hope you do feel stupid. Because they were really mean.
I agree. I do wonder if there's stuff that went on off camera, like going back to Kristen being like, you weren't really there, Sheena. Like, I wonder if this was one of those, like, Stassi was saying something differently in private and then doing something else in public. I don't know. I feel like there's not too much reading between the lines that we can really do. Like, it's pretty obvious they weren't really being good friends.
I like to believe that this season was, like, pure in, like, a very sweet way, and that we saw a lot of what was happening. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if it was, like, more, if we did get the full picture more so than not, because as secrets revealed, they cut out the entire beach party where Stassi blew up at Kristen for mentioning Laura Lee and arguing about the same shit that they've been arguing about. So it's clearly, like, clear that they picked up on the main things and actually had to whittle down some of it because there was too much of it.
You're absolutely right. And that's like the perfect segue to bring us into that Secrets Revealed, which I did feel was just an episode of Stassi crying. And we start off, yes, of them at the beach. And like you mentioned, Carolyn, Stassi goes off on Kristen for mentioning Laura Lee. But also, yet again, I do not blame her. Imagine your best friends are constantly talking about your shitty ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend.
Again, yes, Team Stassi. Don't know how else to say it. Which, I mean, like, I want to be careful because I don't condone everything she does or says, but just in this friendship situation, I felt for her. I felt that Kristen was not being the best of friends. I felt Katie was being a better friend, came from a better place of intentions than Kristen did, but also didn't handle it the best.
No, 100% agree. I don't condone Stassi acting like
rage
a fucking
texting.
Well, she acts like a toddler at that beach scene. She literally, she is a toddler. She gets herself all worked up to the point of crying, and then she gets up and runs away. Kristen is literally chasing her around the beach
nowhere.
like, Stassi, get back here. And she's like, no.
Literally like a toddler. And she's going absolutely nowhere. She's going in circles. There's no point for her to be running. What are we running from? It is like a toddler running from their mother not wanting to go home. I mean, it was so funny.
Yeah.
But also so sad.
Well, there was a scene, I don't really have many notes on it, but they just talk about Tom Sandoval's manscaping. I can't even think of another word. Kristen's calling Tom a trendsetter, and he's putting lifts in his shoes so he can be as tall as Kristen.
Oh, is this when they were at the barbershop and like Jax was with them to do the hair stuff?
Honestly, it wasn't much.
It's funny that that was all that they could really grasp for a storyline for Tom this season.
Yeah, there really wasn't much to him.
He does weird stuff with beauty. Like, we could talk about that.
Right. He loves taking care of himself.
He loves taking care of himself. Let's delve into that a little bit more.
Little did they know they are going to have seasons and seasons worth of Tom Sandoval upcoming.
I know. It's so funny.
Then they do the scene at SUR that we already talked about where Jax mentions, that they had sex. I honestly fast forwarded through that scene because I just couldn't take Stassi crying anymore. It was just too much. We do have a scene at Schwartz's apartment where we finally have a Schwartz moment in season 1. We even have a talking head. I do think this was kind of prepping the audience to see more of him for season 2. And we do have a pretty great Jax scene. We've heard it once, we've heard it again, of him saying that he will have sex with anything that moves or even anything that gives him the eye. But now post Stassi, he can't just, his words, hammer random girls. Basically trying to say, Stassi's changed me. I used to be able to fuck anything, and now I just can't. But I don't believe his story of him bringing a girl back to a hotel and stopping his car being like, I just can't do this. That didn't fucking happen.
No, that happened nowhere. And I thought it was really sweet to see a scene between Schwartz and Jax. Just the two of them having dinner. I don't think we really see that much ever. They're friends, obviously. But it was just a fun dynamic to see how Schwartz gives advice. And he was so unhelpful, as they say. He just
it was funny.
No good advice. He just has some good one-liners every now and then.
Yeah, totally. Another major scene is they have this big birthday party for Tom Sandoval.
Oh yeah, I love how that entire surprise party got cut.
Yeah, I know it was a pretty big. I guess nothing really happened at the surprise party.
Sandoval was upset about that.
Yeah. Also, he definitely wasn't surprised. By the way, he's a horrible actor. It was a big surprise party. His whole family was there. Everyone's there except for Stassi. I guess the biggest thing that happens is Peter kind of goes up to Laura Lee and is like, are you sure Jax is in this for the right reasons or whatever? And that kind of caused a little drama. But it really didn't because Jax is yeah, I mean, Peter's a good guy. He's just trying to be a good friend.
Yeah. Another example of sweet Peter just being a normal human.
Literally.
That not going over well in this show.
No, 100%.
This environment does not deal with normal humans well.
Laura Lee does say some things, some crazy things. She says that she's filling Stassi's role in Jax's life now, which is aka the girlfriend role. She's like, I fill that role now. And then she tells Jax, if you hurt me, I will kill you. I will literally kill you. Now, I will say, I gotta give it to Laura Lee because she did Give Jax the opportunity. She says to him, if you're fucking with me, just tell me and I'll help you play your game. So she does kind of call him out. Like, if you are just getting with me to make Stassi jealous, just say that. I'll still help you do that, which is crazy that she'll still. But she gave him every opportunity to be honest, and he still waited until the AA meeting to dump her.
That's so, okay, I was wondering what she meant, like, I'll still help you play your game. I was like, does that mean so light bulb moment for me, thank you for clarifying that. And
well, that's what I think she meant.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes way more sense. But also, it's crazy how, like, I don't want to use the word gaslight because it's overused a lot. But within this conversation, Jax is making her feel crazy, calling each other babe. They're like, well, babe, like blah, 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 as if they're a couple.
Right.
He had every opportunity. That was his perfect out. He had the window to crawl through and say, you know what, actually, blah. He should have taken it. Instead, he chose the window at the AA meeting.
It would have been an easier watch. And what maybe would have been better if he was just like, I just want to make Stassi jealous. Will you help me make Stassi jealous? I don't think anything would have changed. I think they still would have been fucking all over the place and having a good old time. And at least he would have been honest with her.
And it would still end in disaster eventually.
Yeah, 100%.
But it would just be a different route to get there.
He would have looked at least better of like, you know, it would have been better for him. Yeah, she still would have yelled at him in front of customers at the Sir Bar, but at least he would have looked better in the end.
Yeah.
After this, we do just have like a lot of blips of random scenes that like didn't really matter. Like they're at a gas station driving to Vegas and the girls are fighting.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even that fight, it's the same exact fight we have 5 million times. The production was like, they get it.
Right.
They don't need,
After Jax steals Stassi from Supper Club, they go back to their apartment and they're having yet another scene of Jax saying how much he screwed up, begging for Stassi back, Stassi crying. Like, it is kind of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, a little bit of repeat whiplash.
They did show Stassi getting drunk and throwing up after Chippendales, a classic puke and rally in Vegas, if you will.
A boon rally.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder, I was like, how? Because they showed her getting so drunk. And I was like, but in the scene with the water being thrown, she didn't seem that drunk. There's the answer.
That's
boon
true.
Rally.
There you go. She sobered herself right up.
Yes, man, that used to be such a great maneuver.
We did see more of like Stassi working. She styled Sheena as Liz Taylor. Is that what she said?
Yeah, it was supposed Liz Taylor.
It was cute. It was very 2014,
sweet.
You know?
Yes.
But then the final scene we see, they're all the girls, speaking of very 2014, are riding around in the Sir car and they're like, thank God we're skinny. And they're like all in the clown card into this little pink car, driving around West Hollywood looking hot, passing out flyers. It's kind of cute because they are reminiscing. They're like, you know, I do love working at Sir. These are the reasons I love working here. This is what I'll miss. But then you cut to all of them, including Peter, chanting, show your tits.
Yeah.
And even Peter being like, you girls need to show a little leg back there. Like, it was a bit much.
Only in Vanderpump Rules is a scene where show your tits being chanted can somehow seem endearing.
It was, and you know what? And it was. And it was like, oh, I want to show my tits in the little pink car. I feel like that's kind of everything.
The one thing I did want for this reunion that I think is a fucking travesty is Laura Lee. Why did she not get a seat at the table?
Do you think they asked? Do you think they tried to get her?
I'm sure they did. And I bet she was like, you're so much better at the Laura Lee impersonation than I am.
I'm too big for this now. I'm an A-list actor.
Yeah, like she's got bigger and better things to do, that she's leaving this world behind. And she probably didn't want to see Jax again, to be honest.
What do you think would have happened if Laura Lee did not book We're the Millers? Do you think she would have stayed working at Sir? Do you think we would have gotten more? Like, I do wonder, like, it's kind of crazy how perfect and poetic all that timing was. Like, what if she didn't?
What if Laura Lee was with us the entire time? Through to Scandival. Like, what if she were a regular season 1 cast member?
Her and Raquel would have been best friends.
Would Raquel have been in the... Yeah, okay, we still would have had Raquel.
I think everyone still would have stayed.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have had Laura Lee because I think Stassi would have demanded, I'm not coming back to the show if she's there.
But she doesn't have that much power yet. She's a season 1 Stassi.
But she is the star, and I think she was the runaway lead, and I think she could have. I think she could have controlled that narrative. I do. Maybe she even said, I'm not coming to the reunion if Laura Lee's there.
But I think they also could have said, great, you could go be on another reality show. Like she doesn't have much leverage either.
That's fair, and I mean, I don't know.
If they wanted drama, there's no better drama than having Laura Lee come back with Stassi still there.
Yeah.
It's baked in fodder for what they need.
Yeah. Well, all to say is, Laura Lee, we miss you.
We miss you dearly. But I feel like she's popped up. Is it because we've
she's been posted on the Instagram a bit lately, and she's been posting and deleting. So the posts are just a bit much.
And that's why we love her.
That's why we love her. Wow, I can't believe we just recapped an entire season.
Entire season. That's bananas.
I do think Carolyn and I have been talking about like what we're going to do in the future. I think we're going to do a little pause on Vanderpump. I don't know if we're going to go right into season 2. We're going to figure it out.
But maybe we will. If we have a backlash of you guys saying, no, keep going, then that changes things. You're in control here.
There's just so many current day TV shows. There's, a bunch of Real Housewives coming out, Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality. We're even watching The Challenge that like, we just feel like we love recapping and there's so many other like current shows that are on. We may start recapping those. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel like this was a good filler for kind of the lull of Bravo. There's always like one season that's kind of like meh, and you're waiting for all the seasons to come.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're about to enter like prime time fall Bravo.
Right. And speaking of other shows to be recapping, I meant to mention this up top, but Carolyn and I were just on a podcast for our friend Rob. It's called Vanderpump Robs, and we recapped an episode of Southern Hospitality in the first season of Southern Hospitality. And it was honestly, I think we fucking crushed it personally. It was like so fun.
It was so fun. And I hadn't watched Southern Hospitality, so it was a first time for me. And I'd say, give it a watch. It's wavy, baby. I mean, there's a few fun things in there.
Yeah, so if you want to listen, his name is Vanderpump Robs, and he has a Patreon. So go and check it out there if you want more of us. If you want more of us recapping shit.
Yeah, with other friends recapping shit.
And for those of you that have been with us this whole time, rewatching with us, recapping with us,
gabbing with us.
Gabbing with us. I truly, truly mean this. I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at you right in the eye. Thank you. That was quite a close-up for me.
Well,
I hope you saw every pore.
I've got to do it.
But for real, like, oh yeah, go ahead, Carolyn.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And now everyone can see how beautiful your eyes are. That beautiful green.
Were they? I was scared you were going to see so many creases because I haven't really done much.
We have that retouch filter on this Zoom.
That's so true. Yeah, I don't actually look like a fembot.
But for real, we cannot thank you guys enough. This has just been such a joy, and we're just so honored that you've joined us on this little journey.
This journey so far, and we have plans to keep it going and make it bigger and better than ever, and we're just so thankful for everything. I said this on the Gab episode. I'm going to shamelessly say it again. My birthday is September 12th. My birthday wish is to have 1,000 YouTube subscribers by September 12th. We are so close, people. So freaking close. Grab your aunts, your uncles, your friends. Get them to sign up. I know I sound desperate because I am. I want that 1,000. So that would be amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you for all that you do so far.
You heard the woman. And just because we're done recapping Vanderpump, like we said, we are not done. We are still going to be spitting out episodes. We are sorry that we did not let you know we were going on a bye week last week, but we are back and we are ready to rock and fucking roll, baby.
Hell yeah.
And on that note, I guess we'll go.
I think it's time to go.
It's time to leave. Well, thank you guys so much. And again, we are your favorite podcast, your favorite podcaster's favorite podcast, Girls Unscripted. I am Kate.
I'm Carolyn.
And thank you for listening. Bye.
See ya. Bye.